Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Manchester United versus Newcastle watch-along. This, what do they call it? Twixmas. The time between Christmas and New Year. I don't know. Twix to me is two fingers of chocolate. And I'm talking about the ones you put in your mouth, not the, don't put them in your mouth if you're thinking about that. Anyway, to keep with that theme, I just want to say from the outset, looking at that midfield three of Manchester United, which I suppose is four, but you've got Xerxes, Casemiro and Eriksen. I'm worried about the lack of legs. That bloody porn star, what was her name? She shagged 100 blokes in one day. Lily Phillips, that was it. I think that midfield for Man United tonight could get run through more than Lily Phillips. They've got no legs. So either Amorim is doing something amazing tonight, or we're going to be sat here saying, I told you so. And look, at the end of the day, Casemiro and Eriksen are both players that Man United wanted to sell in the summer. I mean, look, a lot of people spent their time talking about Rashford. We can talk about Rashford in a minute, but he's on the bench and we have got players out. And when have Man United ever not backtracked on getting rid of players they can't get rid of? I mean, I believe it when I see it when it comes to Rashford leaving Manchester United. But in relation to Eriksen and Casemiro, these are two players that we tried to get rid of in the summer, and now they're starting in a massive game against a very good midfield three of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes and Joel Linton. I worry. I do genuinely worry about it. TM says, big up Lily, she's a true soldier. Yeah, nurses say they have it hard. Nothing like that. But yeah, I think it's going to be, it's one of those where it reminds me a little bit of Ten Hag, where a team gets picked, you think, what the bloody hell's going on here? And you just hope you're going to be wrong as a mere fan. But Eriksen and Casemiro in the midfield, I mean, look, it terrifies me. There is unless we're all massively missing something, I think the vast majority of us think of that midfield and we think there's no legs there at all. Obviously, you can't pick Ugarte because he's suspended. You can't pick Bruno because he got sent off. And maybe Mainu has got a bit of an injury issue. I don't know. But you go with what you got. There's some interesting comments that have come out from Ruben Amorim. But I am a little bit worried about it. So let's get this United side up on the screen. We're sponsored by Manscaped tonight. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I am a little bit early, which allows me to just whack the team on the screen for you and discuss that. So let's take and pause. Okay, so yeah, there's the United's lineup for you. Onana, De Ligt. Good to see De Ligt back. I think that's important. Maguire, Martinez. Martinez, the captain, by the way. That's big, actually. That's a big story in itself. I hadn't even realised that. I'd been too busy thinking about the midfield getting run through by like Lily Phillips. I've used it twice. I can't use it again. If it happens, I guarantee I don't script my reactions, but I'm definitely using it. I told you. It's bloody 3-0, and that midfield's been run through more times than Lily Phillips. Yeah, I don't mind Maguire, Martinez, and De Ligt. Mazraoui and Delo, I think, is too defensive. I said this in the preview. I'd love to see Ahmad on the right and Garnacho with Xerxes. I don't like the back five thing. Delo and Mazraoui don't attack enough. We're at home. It just feels a bit too defensive for me. But then again, with Eriksen and Casemiro in the midfield, maybe you need to be a bit defensive because there's no legs there. And then you've got Ahmad, Xerxes and Rasmus, which worries me. I mean, straight away, I will say that Rasmus may well be in a graveyard shift today. Whether he plays well or not, where's the service coming from? The width do nothing. Eriksen and Casemiro have got no legs. Ahmad's not played particularly well in that position. He's better on the right. And Xerxes, as we know, the jury's out. So I do worry about where the chances are coming from. We definitely need to cut out the defensive mistakes. I think that's for definite. Our bench, Biinda, Collier, Garnacho, Kokonki, Mainu, Malacia, Rashford, Yoro, Anthony. And I'd look at that bench and I'd say it's poor. It's got two kids on there in Collier and Kokonki. It's got Garnacho, Rashford and Malacia, who've basically been questioned and dropped in recent weeks. And then it's Yoro, who's a defender, and Anthony, who many of us don't think is good enough. So the bench, to me, is horrible. There's not really any midfield options there, which is probably why he's going Casemiro and Eriksen. But looking at that Newcastle side, Anthony Gordon is a player I've got a lot of time for. Isak's very dangerous. Bruno G, Tonali and Joel Linton is a very good midfield. And that back four, whether it's Trippier, Schär, Byrne and Hall, they just seem to do quite well, Newcastle. They're on a good run of form, so I think it's going to be a difficult game. A few super chats coming in. Rub says, I've got a bad feeling about United tonight. Mando, welcome to Members Club. Looks like we'll be defending and countering, says Ankit. Wingers at wing back, says Impo. I agree. I'd love Tonali and Bruno G in our midfield. That's the problem, Bigino. That Newcastle midfield is actually very good. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I actually think that's a good midfield for Newcastle. So it worries me. I'd love Tonali and Bruno. Yeah, midfield worries me a lot. Got to hope the defence can carry them, says Danny O. What does a big win against Newcastle could mean to you, and what could it mean for the club heading into the new year under Amorim, says Mikey Boy. I mean, look, there'll never be a time where I don't want Man United to win, and I'd love us to win tonight. I think it would be great for us to, you know, get a bit of positivity and show that we can win games even in difficult circumstances. I don't care if it's 0-0 and Marcus Rashford comes on and scores the winner. I think there's people out there that seem to think that those of us that want Rashford to go wouldn't want him to come on and score the winner. I don't care who comes on and scores the bloody winner. It can be Voldemort for all I give a shit. It'd be Darth Vader. I'm not bothered. As long as Manchester United win, I don't care. I don't do that. For me, it's about Manchester United Football Club. I don't have preferences on who's going to score and who's not going to score. My big issue with the Rashford stuff is just the way Man United reacted to it. This is a guy who's been dropped for 3 or 4 games in a row, who did an interview against the club's will and said he wanted to leave. And Man United's PR team are posting pictures of him arriving and in the dressing room. And I just think this is why we fail. It's not Rashford's fault. This is Manchester United's fault. We are such a fucking gimmick as a football club. I mean, that is just prat behaviour. Like, where's your bloody morals? Where's your backbone? Why are you posting pictures of a player that you've clearly fell out with, who did an interview behind your back and wants to leave? But here we go, let's do PR. And that worries people, because that's not Rashford's fault. That's not Amorim's fault. That's Man United behaving like Man United again. Thick and basic. PR. You know, it just annoys me, because I think that we're all a bit scared that we might be very close to doing something sensational and removing some of the deadwood for the first time ever. But I fear that Ineos have said to Amorim, you've dropped him for 3 games, that's enough. We can't sell him, he's on massive wages, so you've got to start using him. And this is exactly what happened to Jose. It's exactly what happened to Ollie, and it's exactly what happened to Ten Hag. And if we're going to take a step back on this now, you know, what if Rashford ends up staying now, scores a few goals, then goes back to being shit again? It probably will happen. And we can't just keep being on this cycle. I'm very worried about Ineos. I just think they're a wolf in sheep's clothing, i.e. Glazers. But that's something for something else, because he's not even on the pitch at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. Would be awesome to see Voldemort score a diving header at the Stretford end, says Nazir. No academy player starting, says GG. As long as there's one on the bench, the record continues. Has Robert deflated himself following the Rashi news, says Trucker. I'm surprised he hasn't put a comment in yet, actually. Mark, is Darth available in January, says Tomo. Will we ever replace Vidic, says Zach. As a Geordie Red, I'm shitting a brick, says Dale. And I hope we sign Danny Olmo now the court case is over, says Adver. Mike JBA has gifted a membership. Love the lives. Can I get a shout out to Harry and the rest of the base monsters and the base? There we go. That's from Even Hilly. Another 3-0 loss or a fight today, says John. I mean, look, I'd be very, very happy with a draw tonight. You know, I mean, I want to win, but I'd be happy not to get beat, especially with Liverpool coming up. Rashford on the bench. You said earlier today that people may not warm to him and too much camera time on him. Has Amorim got this wrong, says Tanai. Look, I don't really want to talk about Rashford, because if he comes off the bench and scores and we win, and then we win the game, of course. But I think United have made a mistake here. I think this, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like player power wins again, doesn't it? Because it looks like a backtrack. You don't have to put Rashford on the bench. You could have put another young player on the bench. You didn't need to do it. To me, it looks like a bit of a backtrack, but we'll see. You know, that's a story for after tonight. I think United, some people think it might be a swan song, a bit of a, you know, thank you and a goodbye. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll have to just wait and see. Personally, if you want to ask me, and it's all about opinion, I think what I said on Twitter. I think this is Ineos realising they can't sell him and they're not going to let him go for nothing. So they've said to Amorim, look, you're going to have to use him, just the same as every other manager has to use these players. But I might be wrong. DeMarco could be someone to go for, says Liam. Oscar Pistorius has more legs than our midfield. Let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Much love to the community, says Aidsa. I hope this doesn't start another Rashford redemption arc. I can't take another one, says Anand. Do we have the greatest sub in history, says Robert McCormack. He is here, following the deflation. And how many set pieces are we conceding today, Mark? I'm starting to think Amorim is starting Maguire for his slab head. Cheers, love from New Jersey, sorry. That's Frojas. Lack of pace in the midfield is worrying. Delo at left wing back is worrying. Lack of inspiring subs is worrying. Open the wallet and back the manager, says Niall. Look, I very rarely go against Manchester United, but tonight I'm going against Man United. You know, you shouldn't do it. I get that. We're Manchester United. We support our team. I want them to win. But I also think that the best opinion is realistic opinion, and I think we're going to lose. I'll be over the moon excited and surprised. If we win, we can win, but I think we'll lose. I think they've got a better team in better form and a better midfield. And I think, you know, I said 2-0 to Newcastle. I just worry. Obviously, look, the obvious thing is the midfield, obviously, but I worry about where the chances are coming from as well. I mean, Xerxes been very bad so far. Ahmad hasn't been particularly creative so far. And I also think Newcastle know he's the danger. What did I say? And I hate doing it after a game because it comes across as a genius in hindsight. So before we read Amorim's comments, I want to say this now. I think Wolves on Thursday just swamped Ahmad and left Delo because they don't care if Delo gets the ball. So it'd be interesting if Newcastle do the same. You leave Delo, you make Maguire and De Ligt and everybody ping balls to Delo, who controls it and passes it backwards or cuts inside and shoots over the bar. No one's scared of Delo. So you leave him alone and you swamp Ahmad and you cut United's supply line. And that is my concern. The only potential, if you're looking for a positive, the only potential shock is, can Eriksen link in with Højlund, that Danish connection? But other than that, I don't see the creativity. I mean, every now and again, if you can work Casemiro into a good situation, he's got a good early right-footed cross on him. But I just worry about where the chances are coming from tonight. That's my big concern tonight, if I'm being completely honest with you. Talking about tonight, we are sponsored by Manscaped. He reaches down for the beard trimmer. Here it is. I need to use this tomorrow morning, New Year's Eve tomorrow night, and I want to be clean shaven. But anyway, you can get 20% off and the code TUS20. The link is in the description, or you can scan the QR code with your camera phone. What is Manscaped? Well, it's precision engineering for your family jewels. If you use the lawnmower, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Absolutely fantastic products, trusted by millions of men worldwide, and you can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping as well with that code TUS20 on anything you order. This is the beard trimmer, but they've also got a brand new innovation called the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. This is a game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. It's got precision shaving, it's got flex adjust technology, it's obviously waterproof, and it's got powerful performance as well. They've also got the weed whacker for your nose. They've got the handyman, which you can carry around with you, which is like a traditional clean shaver, and you can use it for tidying up as well. And also, as I said, the lawnmower for down there. Fantastic products. And if you want to go into 2025 a little bit more tidy, check out Manscaped and use the code TUS20. Link is in the description. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Andre Gomez says, the Wolves game left me absolutely depressed. I don't see anything good nor bright in the near future. I'm watching this game because I love United, but I don't expect anything, says Andre. And LMP says, I don't think Rashford is in the squad because he's forced to be. We heard it's all Amorim's decision. Wants someone on the bench and won't play him. Going there and not playing is embarrassing for him too, says LMP. Well, look, I'm glad we're not talking about Rashford that much. I don't trust Ineos. My worry is that they've told Amorim we're not selling him, so you've got to use him. I don't give a shit how people react to Rashford, but the bottom line is I can see him on the screen there and I'm not interested. You've done an interview behind the club's back, which means you've done it behind the fans' back, and you've said you wanted to leave. That's the story. There's no misinterpretation. So being on the pitch, smiling and acting like one of the lads, you did an interview, you said you wanted to go. United have put him in the squad. I'm not particularly comfortable with that, but we'll have to wait and see. Hi, Mark. Any shows in Dublin soon? Hopefully in the new year, Mark's Friday Pints. Love the name as well. And Jay says, if Rashford scored a hat-trick today, I'd be more annoyed than happy. Sounds bad, but I'd rather him not score. I'm over it. Mate, if so, I'd love him to score. As long as we win the game, I don't care. Neville didn't expect our summer signings to be so bad, says Robert McCormack. Has he really said that? Does Gary actually watch Man United? I know he gets paid to be an ex-player and a pundit, but does he actually watch Manchester United? And did he actually say that, Robert? Because I know you can be a shit stirrer. That is the worst take of 2024 from Gary Neville, and he has some bad takes. I'm telling you now, this is why I'd love to do a show with him, and he won't do it because he's scared. Not because of we're Manchester United. I'd love to have a proper grown-up, mature conversation and say, Gary, you didn't expect our signings to be this bad. Out of the 4 best players we've got this season, 3 of them are new signings and they've only been here a few months. Our 4 best players are Ahmad, Ugarte, Mazraoui and De Ligt. And 3 of them have only been here 5 months in an absolute shit show. So what the fuck are you talking about that you didn't expect them to be this bad when they are better than every player already at the club apart from Ahmad? It's just ridiculously bad punditry, isn't it? Very, very bad. It's weird, really weird. But I don't know whether he watches Man United. I know he gets paid to do it, but do you think he actually does watch us? Do you think he's seen how consistent De Ligt and Mazraoui have been and how good Ugarte's been over the last few weeks? It's just weird analysis. And, you know, the scary thing is some people aren't aware of YouTube or social media. So they've got Sky on and they're listening to it. They're the people I feel sorry for, indoctrinated by idiocy. Tony Cox says, this team doesn't give me any hope whatsoever. Can't believe how bad we've become. Rashford is world class and Amorim is clueless, as FP George. Well, he's on the bench today, mate, so knock one out. Could this be the last hurrah for Rash? Yeah, even I'm laughing at that one. Listening to this but watching the Chelsea game, says Rub. Good evening, says Tuba. Bit off topic, Grealish would be if you could, I mean, we would never get Grealish from Man City, but I wish we had from the Villa days. Greg was waiting in Amsterdam airport, waiting for my flight back to Manchester, and clocked a Dutch guy next to me watching the morning show. Mr. Worldwide, says Greg. Love that. Andre, we've done that as well. Thank you very much. We might beat the front man on corners. I tell you what, look, 2 things I want to talk about, Andy, and we've still got to do Amorim's reaction to Amorim's comments as well. Have faith in Xerxes. He's playing a bit deeper, says Double D. I hope so, Double D, because you do talk a lot of sense. I think we'll be allowed to play a bit tonight, so this midfield might work. Hope so. Rashford smiling because he got away with it again, says Ross Walsh. Yeah, I mean, that's my concern, isn't it? Where's the apology again? And I would say this to Rashford's fan club, because I've had death threats again today. It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, he can do no wrong. He can do no wrong. But I would say this to Rashford's fan club. I don't care if he comes on and scores. You think I do. You think those of us who want him to go do. I win if Rashford scores because it's Manchester United. It's not Marcus Rashford United. So you're idiots, because I will be celebrating going, Rashford, get in, because Manchester United score, not Marcus Rashford. So I hope he does score tonight. But what I would say to you is, where's the apology again? Where was the apology after Belfast? And where's the apology again for doing an interview you shouldn't have done, saying you wanted to leave? And this is it. They just let him get away with it all the bloody time. And so do the club a lot of the time. Eric Ten Hag's signings have been shocking. Probably what Gary means, has Vinny read. But they haven't. They haven't been shocking. Casemiro was very good in the first year. Eriksen was very good until bloody Andy Carroll nearly snapped him in 2. Martinez was very good until he gets injured. So I don't think the signings have been bad. De Ligt's been good. Mazraoui's been good. Ugarte's been good. The quotes on the United Stand page, what it sounds like he's saying the team got worse with the new players, not sure if he means them individually, says Glenn C. How can the team get worse with new players when we were absolutely shite? last night. Good news, Rashford apparently received warm applause when he emerged from Man United's warm-up. Look, I never really liked Fellaini that much, and I saw Paul Pogba get booed, and Martial. I don't like it. Regardless of, even Di Maria, if he walked out in a Man United shirt, I wouldn't want him to get booed. I think it's you talk about mental health and you talk about the impacts, and some people would say, you deserve that, but I don't personally, it's just a personal thing. I've always been very, very consistent about it. I don't like seeing players get booed, but some of you would say, well, they do deserve it. Gary looks at the signings, and to him, because we aren't competing for the title, that makes them bad. Warped logic, but now he sees it. He said this midfield was better than Liverpool's after all, says Patrick Lynch. Congratulations on 2 million marks, says JM Wood. Yeah, please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We've already got another 2,000 on top of the 2 million, so we're storming towards 3 million. We could hit it tomorrow. Please do subscribe. Yuri the Red says, hi Mark, please wish my dad Cyril a happy 80th birthday. What an 80th birthday. I mean, well done, 80 and not out. And I don't know what I'm talking about. Happy 80th. Omar says, the financial damage the Mount and Anthony signings have done though, Mark. They're bad signings, Omar. But let me explain myself about Ten Hag signings. My logic with Ten Hag signings are this. I've always, throughout my life, and I can't remember who said it, but it is true. I might have made it up, but it is true. If you're a manager with a 60% hit rate on transfers, you're doing well, because the average is around that. Most, even Pep Guardiola doesn't have a 70% success rate on transfers. So when you look at Ten Hag, have 60% of his signings been good signings? Yes. Anything above that's a bonus. I always think that. And that's why I look at the summer signings and I go, at the moment, Xerxes not doing particularly well and Yoro's not settled, but 3 of them have. What's that? 60%. 40% of them, the jury's still out. Let's have a look at some of Amorim's comments. On Casemiro, he says he's an important player in that position to have possession. He'll be important today. He's also very good on set pieces. He will bring his experience to the team in a difficult period. Well, he's also a player that hasn't been picked over the last few games as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Casemiro reacts, because sometimes he's been dreadful. Gary Neville, an informed Onana over Dubravka. I would take Ahmad over Murphy, but then I was struggling with the rest. Maguire maybe with the form he's been in, but I don't think at this moment in time Eddie Howe would be switching many of his players for those in red shirts. What is Gary Neville still pissed on bloody mulled wine? Pratt wine? What is he talking about? Onana over Dubravka and Ahmad over Murphy, and that's it in relation to a Newcastle lineup. Maybe Harry Maguire. What's De Ligt and Mazraoui been doing for the last fucking couple of months? Playing golf? What? He don't watch Man United. I'm having it now. Gary, let's have a chat. You don't watch Man United, pal. What are you talking about? Ahmad, Onana and maybe Maguire getting a combined 11. De Ligt's ahead of fucking Maguire, and so's Mazraoui. Maguire's done okay, but De Ligt's been consistently good for months, and Mazraoui's done it all season. What the fuck are you talking about? Must be bloody pissed. Absolutely terrible. Rubbish take. It goes on to say, what I'm surprised about is that when in the summer United signed those 3 or 4 players, I didn't hear anyone say Man United have had a terrible transfer market. I'm shocked about how poor those players have been in their early months. I've said it before, the club has been a graveyard shift for players who have come with decent reputations, and it's happening again. I didn't hear anyone say in the summer, when Yoro, De Ligt, Agate, Xerxes joined, that United signed half-decent players. The problem is that when you've seen them out here in a red shirt, that Manchester United look a worse team. That's the odd thing. What the fuck is he on about? He's losing the plot. Why is it the responsibility of De Ligt and Mazraoui to make Rashford and Bruno play well? They've been here for fucking years. De Ligt and Mazraoui and Agate have played well. All they can do, Gary, is come in themselves and do well. If the experienced players do shit, it's not their responsibility. You played for Man United. Like, how many players came into Manchester United? I'm trying to think of a player that came into Manchester United when Gary Neville was there. So, Gary Neville, Manchester United. When Jesper Blomqvist came in to a team that was already winning the league, did Jesper Blomqvist have to make Man United brilliant again? Or was it the responsibility of the players already there? I don't know what he's on. I really, really don't. Jamie Carragher, how can Manchester United get more creativity into his team? It's a massive problem as it tells you they have to play one of Ahmad or Anthony in a wing-back role. Delo and Mazraoui don't have the ability to beat people 1-1-1. Yeah, I mean, this is spot on by Carragher. You know, we've been talking about this. I don't like playing fullbacks out wide in this system because it basically becomes a back five. Let's have a look at what Amorim had to say. On Xerxes, he said, I think he's not a clear number 9. We need strength. I think if you look at our games, our strength in front, sometimes we're too light. We play with the ball, but you don't feel the real power against it. This team is really important. I think Xerxes played well between the lines, so we'll try Xerxes today. At the beginning, I made changes because of the training, and now it is to win games. Also, I tried to win games. The team are in the same level, so I try to use the characteristics for the opponent. On starting fullbacks as wing-backs, I think sometimes it's for the team to be more compact, also set pieces and to try use different things. We won against it this way. I think we have more possession. I think we have to control better the games. There's some weird stat though, isn't there, that all our goals have been scored when Ahmad's been playing out wide and we haven't scored any goals when we've been using fullbacks out wide. So let's hope we can break that record today. He says, I'm trying to make the team more compact because we suffer a lot of goals. I'm really focused on set pieces because if you try to remember the games, we have more possession, sometimes more opportunities, but then one set piece changes the game. So I think it's fair to say he's using fullbacks out wide because he wants us to be compact today, i.e. a back five, and concentrate on set pieces. So looks like we're going to not be too expansive today and maybe try and play a little bit on the break. I think we have more time to train now, but we also know what that this with bad run of results, it's hard to sell the idea. So we'll try to do the same thing, but with more time. How difficult does he find it? Little bit because of the schedule. You get the feeling when you are here, there is not a lot of time to train, just to prepare for the next game, and then a lot of things you should address. I'm trying to adapt to win games. It's really important to win games, but I will not stop with my idea as I was hired because of it. On the recall of Rashford, he said, we have a lot of players out. Every week I choose my players, and this time he is here. If you start changing because of the results, it's the end for any coach. I was hired because of my idea. Well, here we go. The players are in the tunnel. Very excited about this. United have got their work cut out today, certainly, against that Newcastle side. If Newcastle win tonight, huge demoralisation for Man United before Liverpool, says Omer. Mark, it is what it is. It's wrong, we know. They are representing our club, so we need to get behind them regardless. We are red and proud. Glinios out, says Andy Cheatham. Sky have the title, more agony for Amorim as the thumbnail for the match. Why are they going for him already, says Goldio. Get rid of Gary, make United great again, says Swami. Hi Mark, I'm in a sports bar with my wife and some of the United fans. I hope we don't leave here disappointed. Enjoy, Constantine. I hope that Rashford's on the bench to keep or boost his value rather than club pressure to pick him, says Chris Judge. Olmo appeal denied, a January possibility for us. Why would it not be a possibility for anybody else though? Do you think Sir Alex Ferguson will ever expose what he was working for the Glazers for 10 years? He's been the only manager to succeed and get support under them. I don't think Sir Alex will ever say anything bad about the Glazers, Alex. I really don't. He earns a lot of money out of it as well, and he was an ambassador afterwards. I love Sir Alex, and I'd never say anything bad about him, but I don't think he will say anything bad about the Glazers. United win the Premier League or 5 million subscribers, says Milford. Man United win the Premier League. I don't see Rashford getting off the bench, says Alex. Have you already spoken on the Maguire interview, says Billy? Yes. Big performance needed tonight, Jordan. And Dia from Everton would be a great signing. I do like him, Andrew. Hi, Mark. Who would you bring in to improve Man United, says Benjay? Left-footed, left-back, midfielder, and a number 10. United have their work cut out against that midfield, says Chris. Hi, Mark. Thank you very much for that. And happy birthday to Cyril, who is 80 today. The only other thing I wanted to talk about very quickly, we're 3 minutes away from kickoff here, is the captaincy going to Martinez. What are your thoughts on that? That to me is a very interesting one. I'm just I didn't expect that. Casemiro's starting, so I thought it might be him. De Ligt could do it, but I think he's a bit young. And I thought it would probably be Maguire because he has done quite well. So Martinez as captain, I think is... I'm not bothered about it. I mean, hopefully he can live up to it, but I wouldn't have expected it. Look, one of the big things for me tonight is to see how Manchester United cope without Bruno. I think it's been a bit of a problem. LMP says it's sad how you have to win a Champions League or the Premier League to be considered a good player if you're not English for the media in this country. Disgusting. Liam G says, do you think United could ever realistically challenge for a title on Ineos? Yes. Yes, I do. I think it looks like it's a long way at the moment, but I do, Liam. Are you ready for Rashford as a cam? We will see the bench more than the actual game, says Riley. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Bench cam. This is another reason why this problem needs to be solved, because maybe Ineos say to Amorim, we can't sell Rashford, so you're going to have to use him off the bench. But then every game, the cameras will just be on him. So either Mendes or Davies for left wing back, says Kieran. Right, let's get this party started. It's a big one. I'm standing up. That's what she said. No, I'm standing up because it's a big game. There we go. I've got my pyjamas on as well because... What the fuck? I've got my pyjamas on because if we get beat, I'm just going straight to bed. I feel guilty. I've put £200 on Newcastle to win. 550, says Andy. Yes, you are a traitor, but I've said that Newcastle will win 2-0, so I can't honestly sit here and say that, you are a traitor, really, because I'm just being realistic. I've seen a bit of Newcastle recently, and I've seen a lot of Man United recently, and we ain't very good. So, yeah, I'm worried about the midfield. Will this game determine how we attack the January transfer window, says Alonso? Well, I'll talk about that on the morning show tomorrow because there is some updates on that. But there we go. Rashford cam straight away. So predictable. There are other games going on. Look, I'm very interested in the first 10 minutes here and how we can sort of implement our structure. One thing under Amorim is that we have conceded a lot of goals from mistakes. So can we eradicate those mistakes? Interestingly, Ipswich are beating Chelsea 1-0 and Brighton are beating Aston Villa 1-0 at the moment. So that's what we're doing in relation to the other Premier League games going. But look, in relation to the Premier League for us, it's just about how many points we can get, how many wins we can get in this horrible... Oh, you've got Gary Neville on co-coms as well. Mute! Listen to this. Mike, JBA, gifted a membership. Thank you very much. And Melissa says, off topic, but what was your dinner today? Very traditional Christmas dinner, actually. It's a Nigella Lawson recipe that we have every year. It's like a lamb... It's a Moroccan lamb dish. Really nice with couscous, pomegranate. Absolutely love it. Love it. Who's the ref? Another gimp, says Kenneth. I don't know. He's the bold one, but it's not Taylor. Let's have it, says MD. Yeah, I'm on the red wine tonight. So one way or another, I'll have a good time. United with a bit of possession here. I wondered where Mazraoui was going there, but De Ligt's really far back in the sort of right-back position as United look to pass out from the back. Legs in the midfield is going to be really interesting. Xerxes loses the ball, and again, fucking hell, 2 touches there. Gives the ball up. Doesn't make a tackle. He just looks so slow, Xerxes, doesn't he? I can worry about him in that position. I mean, I don't think Bruno's quick enough for the role, but there, 2 bad touches, and then he's slow in the tackle. He's got to be quicker than that. The ball's on Amorim if he subs in Rashford in the 88th minute, losing or not, says Kevin. Can you call my bro Abraham a prat? He watches you every day from Mexico, says Junglehead. You're a brat, apparently, Abraham. Thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Newcastle already dominating the midfield, and we've got to be very careful. This is where we'll see we're worse without Bruno, says Jack. And Herman says, get out of my club, Rashford. Yeah, Delap scored a penalty for Ipswich against Chelsea. Look, there's no shame in saying this. This is a mismatch. Like, they are a better team than us at the moment. I don't think there's any shame in saying that. But hopefully, we can have a bit of possession. Oh, Mazraoui losing the ball in a dangerous place there. Out to Xerxes. Go on, find a pass. That's a terrible pass. Was that pass ever on? Bloody hell, mate. And Arna's out here. Puts it out for throw-in. If in doubt, kick it out. No problem with that. Bad passing. Anana making me nervous already, says Trucker Jeff. This is where we'll see we're worse without Bruno, says Jack. Well, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what it's like without Bruno, actually. Daniel, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for getting your badge in. Appreciate that. I just worry about the midfield, and even in the first 3 minutes, their midfield's better than ours. Oh, here we go. Hall's got room on the left-hand side. That's a good cross. 1-0. Fucking hell, you're so shit. You're so fucking shit. Absolutely shit. First attack and it's a fucking goal. You are so fucking shit. You should be sponsored by bloody Andrex. You absolute tossers. Fucking 1-0 down to Magpies FC already. Fucking dickheads. Absolutely fucking shit. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. Every fucking week. Every fucking week. That was it? Bournemouth. Bloody Wolves. Forest. And now Newcastle. We get fucking banged. More than a porn star's back door at Old Trafford. Every fucking week. He's not even marked. Who's marking Isaac here? The Invisible Man. That is shit defending again. Shit defending. Simple as that. There's no offside here. Are we genuinely watching an offside here? It's not offside. It's not. Why? What are you looking at, you fucking prick? He's miles on. How are you checking that? Sack him! Sack the VAR, you fucking idiot! Stevie Wonder knows that's onside. What are you trying to bloody give us hope for? Fucking hell. Why are we wasting time here? 2 minutes since he scored an obvious goal. Oh, fucking hell. I can't tell you how shit I don't know whether I've told you. The defending on that is absolutely shite. It's too simple as well. Midfield, not quick enough. One ball out. We're playing a back five. We're playing a back five and they've got a spare man on the back post to put a cross in. And then we've got 3 centre-backs and Isaac's winning a free header. Explain it to me. Explain it to me, because I thought back five might be a bit compact. You don't deal with the guy who's got a free cross, and then you don't deal with the guy who gets a free header. Dino says parking the bus ain't going to work in the Prem. Omar says Anana is a liability. And it's Louis says it's time to challenge the amount of games these players play. I get the because they get paid loads argument, but they're still human. This could be anything. It really could. We're getting they're absolutely shit in the midfield. Eriksen's so slow. I just had a message from a mate, Neil. He says 2 pensioners in the midfield. 2 pensioners. 2 bloody porn stars who like it up the... Anyway, they're like yeah. Mark Maguire's great at pointing. I personally think Maguire's at fault for that goal, Mario. I think it's dead centre and he's good in the air. I think he's got to do better on that. But at the end of the day, we lost the midfield battle before that. Why is Hall free on the back post to put the cross in? And also, I think Xerxes looked really bad in that role. Really slow. He's too slow. Too slow. I mean, I think Bruno's slow, but Xerxes needs to literally needs to roll his fucking socks up. Walking around with your bloody socks around your ankles when you're not that good is not a good look. We're going to get battered like a cod in a chip shop, says James. Lewis Hall at left back you could use, says Jonathan. Mate, we could use bloody Lewis Hamilton at left back at the moment. That's good. That's good passing. Doesn't move us anywhere. Andrew says, Amorim is showing the Glazers how bad we are. What did you expect, Mark? Love you. Grab a pint on me, says Stanky. This could be a slaughter, says CR64. Anana is a liability. One good game and we forget about everything, says Tariq. I haven't seen the goal. I'm going to see it now. What's the problem with Anana? I think Maguire and Martinez just leave the player here. Maguire's pointing at Isaac. Martinez, I think, to be honest, I think it's not Maguire actually. I think it's more Martinez and Maguire. Maguire's having a go at Casemiro as well. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. What is Ahmad doing there? Martinez fault that. Literally watched it go to Isaac, says Stephen. I think it's a little bit more complex than that. I think Maguire's not happy about the runners from midfield, which means him and Martinez get stuck in a bit of a position. But yeah, I mean, Martinez is responsible as well. There's no doubt about that on the replay. I was trying to understand why people were having a go at Anana. I mean, look, I don't think he fills me with confidence, but I don't know what he's done on the goal. He never makes big saves, really, does he? Like that. 1-0 down after 5 fucking minutes. I tell you what, we really are Grand Theft Auto FC, aren't we? About as useful as red lights. Defensively. Here's Anthony Gordon. Oh, he sends Mazraoui back to Bayern. Good interception by De Ligt. And Joel Linton shoots wide. Even Mazraoui's starting to play shit now. He's been infected. He's been infected. It's like bloody 28 days later. Come to Manchester United full of hope, get bitten, and you become a bloody zombie. Oh, he's done him there. He's absolute. That wouldn't have happened a few weeks ago. They're passing it around Xerxes like he's a cone, says Rohil. Can we sell the whole team, says Tariq. That midfield is absolute dog shit. I don't know what Xerxes is doing with his passes. Fucking hell, he must think Rasmus is killing Mbappe on fast play. How's he meant to get on the end of that pass? He thinks he's playing an intelligent pass. Fucking hell, mate. You're a bloody mind reader. They're passing it around. Imagine what people in Slow Sports News would be saying if we had Rude stay during this rough patch. Maybe Amorim isn't up for this, says Zed. I remember you saying you'd probably stop doing videos when we win the league. At least we still be able to watch you for another 40 years, says Michael. $500,000 a week for our centre midfield, says Wheelbarrow. Yes, yes. Breaking news. Casemiro gets paid 350 grand a week and Eriksen gets paid 150 grand a week. That's £500,000 a week for 2 bags of cement. Oh, De Ligt gets done by Isaac. Casemiro gets done by Isaac. And Eriksen makes the cross. It's infecting them all. They're all rubbish. Delo thinks he's Messi now. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you taking players on the edge of our box? They're idiots. They're actually idiots. Get Rashford on. All is forgiven. This is embarrassing, mate. Well, look, what did I say? As bad as people think Bruno is, we're worse without Bruno. We're actually, we've seen this before. We're worse without Bruno. I'm not saying we're good with Bruno, but we're fucking worse with him, without him. Xerxes' problem at Bayern was he took all the fluidity out of the attack. He's got the build for a 9, but he likes to play as a 10 for some reason, says Dennis. It's so bad that we deserve to get relegated, says V. What position do you think is the most important to recruit in January, says Luke. Mate, I can do it in order, but we probably need about everybody at the moment. We need midfielders, strikers, wingers, goalkeepers, centre-backs, full-backs, holding midfielders. We need the lot. Night, mate. Losing already.
I know. I can't believe they let a goal in the first 10 minutes.
3 minutes?
3 minutes?
Yeah. I can't speak. They are rubbish. Mazraoui's playing different since he's been moved from centre-back. As I said, Ahmad right wing, Mazraoui centre-back works so much better, says Tommy. I agree. Here we go. Okay, Gordon on the back post, just wide. We're like bloody Dracula on crosses. We're terrified. You can see the defenders going, the sun, the sun. What's Onana doing here? It's like he's watching a bloody kite. It's like Dick Van Dyke. Let's go fly a kite up where the air is shite. Let's go fly a kite, a splendid story. Fucking catch it, you twat. Rude won 3 out of 4, drew the other one. The players were not bad then, but how... Oh, shut up, Mark. If you're starting to have a pop at Amorim, you're an absolute prat. Go and fucking support Leicester. Absolutely, go and support Leicester. I mean, if you're putting this on Amorim, you're defending this shower of shit that's been a shower of shit for years. Mate, it's a new year in 48 hours. Get a personality transplant in relation to football logic. Buy a few books. My book's available in all good bookstores. Where is it? I can't find it. It's because it's sold out. Get it on the market. Delo's tactical awareness really pissing me off, says Constantine. Are your son's mates Man United fans, says Quinton? He actually has got a friend who in the summer supported Man City, but is now thinking about who to support next, and he's considering Liverpool or Chelsea. Yeah. This midfield is shit, says Jack. You know what? It's been really wet over Christmas, and I'll be honest, I've been a bit lazy with the dogs, letting them out in the garden, and I haven't been picking it up because it's just wet. And I thought, you know what? When we get a dry day, I'll go out and I'll clean it up. Went out there this afternoon, and there was a lot of shit on the grass. But I tell you what, there was less shit on the grass after 3 days of dog shitting than what I can see on that pitch at Old Trafford tonight. Absolutely terrible. It's rubbish. If it's true that United aren't focusing on the January transfer window and instead focusing on the summer, then Ineos have lost all trust, says Liking Trash. We're missing Ugarte, not Bruno, says Stephen. We're missing more than one player. We're definitely missing more than one player. I've seen porn stars less open than this and they get paid less, says Tom. I've seen better players in Litex swingers parties and more confidence in a newly pegged horse, says Andreas Math. Can you peg a horse? Well, I don't want to know. I can't take another loss from these merchants, says Andres. It's my 30th birthday. I hope United can find a way to win, says Kazi. Mate, I'd ignore football for your 30th. Seriously. We've had no shots on target in the first 16 minutes. Graveyard shift. What were my fears before the game started? That the midfield would be shit and that Rasmus would be in a graveyard shift. And oh, what a surprise. It's almost like we know what we're on about. Good play by Eriksson there. And then he's going to lose it because he's so fucking slow. I've seen quicker rocking horses. And one ball and Isak's in. Oh my God, what are they doing? And that all comes because Christian Eriksen has got no legs. Look at this, he's in a good position. Oh my Christ. And why is Isak being left like that? Maguire looks like he's running through treacle. Martinez way out of position. And he's the captain. I'd rather have Captain Pugwash in charge. Oh, Ahmad loses the ball in a stupid position. Looked like a bit of a foul to me, but the referee was looking right at it. Mate, we are so bad. Heads have dropped again. Absolutely terrible. This is absolutely shit. I mean, it's very predictable, though. I mean, I can't hide from the fact that I thought we would lose. How bad can you be? Every ball they put in the box finds its mark. Every ball we can... some players like Mazraoui and Ahmad. But the truth is they are not good enough for United, says Tusha. How bad can it get if we start the youngsters, says Ankit. The worse we play, the more my dad beats me, says Ollie. I hope not. Liverpool is going to have a field day with this team, says Levi. 2-0. Fucking hell, mate. I can't believe it! I can't believe it! It's like watching a replay! It's like watching UK Gold, but it's not gold! It's absolutely shit! It's this literally the same thing again. Martinez up against Joel Linton, which is pretty much like Tyson Fury jumping for a header with fucking Bilbo Baggins. But, mate, it's 2-0 after 20 minutes. We've not even had a shot on goal. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's as I said. It's bloody... Man United's defence is about as useful as a bloody red light on Grand Theft Auto. It's just absolutely guaranteed you're gonna score. In fact, you know what? I was down the pub the other night and my mate said, I think I might get some tonight. And I said, why? I've just had a message from a message on WhatsApp and it's a picture of United's back five. I thought you're definitely going to get screwed then. Absolutely terrible. Oh, it's a handball. No, it's the top of his arm. Top of his arm. Won't be a handball. Oh, mate. Oh, fucking hell. I can't believe this. I can believe it. I actually can believe it. I hate to say it, but I think I want Xerxes to do well, but he looks way off. Eriksen and Casemiro shouldn't be in a Man United shirt. I feel bad for Amorim because they're two players that we tried to sell. And if he's having to... There's a good point to be had here. And I said it at the start of the game on purpose. We tried to sell Casemiro and Eriksen in the summer. And our new manager is having to use them in a game like this. It says everything, doesn't it? It really does. Teams finally starting to pick up on Martinez's lack of physicality, says Noah. Defence is more lost than Madeline. Okay, can't say that, guys. Defence. Mark, have you ever been so utterly disgusted that you've turned a Man United match off before 90 minutes is up? Can we sell them all, please, says Michael. I mean, this is a great point as well. Both those crosses from Newcastle, they don't even have to beat the man. They just whip it in. Sebastian says, is it sabotage? This is one of the worst starts I've ever seen. Manager doesn't know how to select a squad, says Dibbo. I don't think this is on the manager, mate. Predictably, I think there are morons who will blame it on the manager. This is just a shower of shit squad. That's what it is. It's absolutely terrible. They're actually shit. I've told you before, Eriksen's got no legs. Casemiro doesn't give a shit because he gets paid anyway. Xerxes looks way... I mean, look, he's looking like Anthony has for the last 2 years. A player that might be good in another league, but really is struggling here. Manager doesn't ask. At least now all fans will agree for once it's a player issue, so there's a silver lining to getting spanked, says iClass. How did Ten Hag win trophies with these players? This makes me want to drink bleach, says Aggie. The fact that Onana was scouted through TikTok Champions League compilations is comical, says Dennis. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about Onana because realistically there's a lot of other mistakes that go on before both goals, but he ain't it. Could you see United getting relegated, says Ben? No. Not with Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton in the league. Amorim needs to act now, take out that midfield. I mean, Eduardo, I agree. Collier couldn't do any bloody worse. Like, Collier could not do any worse. There's just no way. That needs to happen. I mean, did Collier not come on for Casemiro in the second half against Liverpool at Old Trafford at the start of the season and do okay? Just give him a go. Ryan says Amorim needs to go. We need guitar, Sir Jim, says Jay. United play like under 10s. Anana loves that line. Cemetery FC, says Alvin. EU says you should play centre-back for United. I'd be absolutely shit, mate, but then again, I mean, what's that from Xerxes, mate? You're playing in red. You're not playing in black and white. You're playing in red. Prison football, that is. That's about the third time in the first 25 minutes he's passed the shirt to a shirt in black and white. Absolutely terrible. Heartbreaking, says Mohammed. I know trust the process, but at least give us some hope. Gary Neville even said we are there for the taking. Well, I predicted Newcastle would win this 2-0. I'm probably going to be wrong, but Newcastle will win. Stephen says, captain, there was 8 players back for that mess. Martinez shouldn't be captain, mate. But it's another person given the armband who is struggling. Salah will be salivating getting ready for this, said someone. If the Romans had dealt with crosses as bad as Man United, Christianity would never have been invented, says Glenn, religious. I thought we got rid of the goalkeeper that was... Sorry, let me read this one. Jesus says, I thought we got rid of the goalkeeper that was glued to the line. At least the other one made the saves. Can't believe people thought this lot would finish top 4, says Jesus. He's absolutely shit. He's so bad on crosses and Arna. I mean, he literally would be better with a parked bike. He just doesn't move. Doesn't attempt to dive for it. Just stands there every fucking time. I'm not saying he'd save it, but most goalkeepers actually do dive. Just try. You never know. It might come at you. Newcastle are just so confident at the moment. I mean... £66 a ticket. I'd rather watch Fulham, says Brandon. Ipswich look better. They're currently beating Chelsea, says Governor. Darth, we are in a relegation battle, says Sean Turner. I ain't even joking. Look at our next 10 games. Southampton at home is the only game we might win. Ten Hag needs locking up for what he signed, says Sean Turner. Maybe, but I disagree with that. I genuinely do disagree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with De Ligt and Mazraoui. Agate suspended. Xerxes looks shit. Ineos bought these players as well. I think there's we're just sort of reaching the bottom of the barrel in relation to 10 years of mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. I'm a moron. This team is crap. What are these players and managers doing? Says Kipper. Anyone saying Amorim out are either 10-year-olds or brain dead, says Reese. I mean, I look, if you want to say Amorim out, it's up to you, but I don't want to see another manager sacked. I just genuinely think we can't do that. And it won't happen. We can't afford to do that. You can't spend 17 million sacking Ten Hag, 12 million bringing Amorim in, and then spend another 10 million sacking him. We just won't do it anyway. When was the last time we bought a Premier League experienced player? Says Christopher Richards, barring Maguire. Oh my fucking God. He is an embarrassment in goal. Nearly knocked himself out on the back post. They're basically shooting from corners. They're taking the piss out of you, mate. That's a shot from Trippier. He's actually trying to score from a corner. Dorco says, phone up Van Nistelrooy. Did nobody ever wonder why Bayern let Mazraoui and De Ligt go? If they're any good, they were still playing there, says PM. Weird comment. So it's now De Ligt and Mazraoui's fault, is it? Where's this come from? Gary Neville? Fuck off. They've been 2 of our best players this year. What's De Ligt got to do with either goal as well? Both are crosses from the left-hand side and he's on the front post. It's got nothing to do with him. Martinez gets done on both crosses. Maguire a little bit. And I don't really understand why we're not dealing with their left back. Is Tonali, Bruno, Joel Linton best midfield in the Prem, says Jonathan? Well, it was always men against boys, mate. We haven't had a shot on goal, by the way. We haven't created a chance at Old Trafford. What's this shit? Get Collier on, Amorim. Get Collier on. Liverpool are going to put Man United on a T-shirt next week, says Insured Frames. Can I just announce, actually, you know, sometimes I don't do games because I might be going to Centre Parks or something. It's a coincidence, but on Sunday I've got to do something really important that will preclude me from doing any watch along or match reaction. I can't say what it is yet because I haven't booked anything, but got a very important thing on Sunday, so won't be able to do watch alongs for it. Amorim's the right man, but he's got that midfield wrong, says Geordie. I do agree, Geordie, but I don't really know what he could do. How does Beth get away with rating Onana, says Kevin. Udit says, this is the status of Ten Hag signings. No more Bruno to blame. Garnacho, Agate, De Gea, Fred are not in the team anymore. Only Ahmad and Maguire are prime manager signings. Radcliffe needs to be kicked out, says Udit. Liverpool are going to put Man United on a T-shirt. Eric says, Sack Amorim. Does none of our coaches ever adapt to the team we have? Play a back four with Martinez left back and Ahmad 10. Why not play some youth players, says Grant? I disagree with that, Grant. You can't get a manager who plays a 3-4-3 and then ask him to play a 4-4-2. Like, there's no point. Amorim's right. You may as well sack him rather than change the formation. You know, Man United, look, if Amorim turns out not to be the guy, Ineos shouldn't have gone for a guy that plays a 3-4-3. My God, we're so bad at crosses. They're literally just putting crosses in the box. Maybe it's all a ploy to get Rashford in. He's offside, surely. He's offside. He's offside. Isak scored, but he's offside. I think he is anyway. Let's have a look. Oh, he's miles off there, yeah. What's he talking about being onside for there? He's miles off, you twat. Not that it matters. I mean, this is the perler. Here we go. It's 3. Is it the post? Fucking hell, mate. This is. I tell you what. I back Amorim, but this is probably one of the worst I've seen. It's absolutely dreadful. I'm glad I don't have the audio on. 1, because Gary Neville's on comms, but 2, I wouldn't want to listen to the crowd. It's you know what? I mean, look, Rasmus has got to be a 3 because he's not in the game. Xerxes a 3. Ahmad, I'd probably give him a 5 for effort. Casemiro and Ericsson 3. Delo 3. Martinez 3. Maguire, De Ligt probably 4s. Mazraoui probably a 3. Onana a 3. It's absolutely terrible. He's making a sub. He's got to do it. Got to do it. Mainu's coming on. What's that by Ahmad? What are you doing? Wins the ball back and knocks it out for a throw-in. Zach says Martinez is 5'9". He can't beat anyone over 6 foot. He's 5'2" apparently. Manchester United more like Manchester divided, says T. Tonali at the post. It should have been 3-0. Maybe we should be... Well, Xerxes coming off here after 32 minutes. I think that's goodbye. It's embarrassing, isn't it? But the performance was embarrassing. I think that might be it. Mainu comes on. And he walks down the tunnel. I think he's gone. I think we've seen the last of Xerxes in a United shirt. Oh, Rasmus puts it wide on his left foot. Should he have scored? I don't know. I thought he would score. It's a good run. It's a good ball by Martinez. Oh, it's not far off. I don't know. From there, I think it's difficult, but yeah, Erling Haaland, Lewandowski score it. I would say that. The crowd cheered Xerxes off. Is that what? Ironic cheer, like get off your shit, or cheered because, well, I can't imagine it was for a good performance. Joey says that's a disgrace by the fans. He hasn't been good, but that's a human there who is low in confidence. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it, but as I've always said, their fans pay their money. If they boo somebody, I mean, God, if they're cheering off Xerxes, you wouldn't want to be coming on if you're Rashford, would you? So Mainu goes into the midfield with Casemiro and Eriksen goes to 10. To be fair, it's probably not a bad idea. Martinez wide to Delo. Fucking hell. Come on, do something, mate. Oh, you're so shit, man. What are you doing? How does he give a free kick up with his own fucking... What's wrong with Delo as well? He's gone from being one of our most consistent players under Ten Hag to being managed by a Portuguese guy and playing shit. This team is shameful, says Steve, full of defensive players tonight and we're still letting in stupid goals. Scapegoat sub, Eriksen, Casemiro are worse, says Fred. I was just about to say that. Do you think that was the right sub by Amorim? I genuinely think Casemiro and Eriksen are a little bit lucky there. Neville just said we're watching pound for pound the worst team in the country. Fucking hell, Gary, get yourself a fucking Ballon d'Or. I mean, how long did it take you to think that? I mean, Slow Sports News, we've been watching the worst pound for pound team in the Premier League for 10 years. We've got the second biggest wage bill in the league, and we have done for years. Of course we're pound for pound the worst team in the fucking league. Bloody hell, it's hardly rocket science, is it? The cheer Xerxes was disgusting, to be fair. He's come back. They've just shown him come back. Has Casemiro or Eriksen completed a pass, says Alexi. How bad can this get? I can't take this anymore, says Reswin. I would imagine Xerxes stormed off there and has been advised to come back because you can't be doing that. Reswin says, how bad can this get? I can't take this anymore. Well, mate, it can go from 2-0 to 7-0. We've seen it before. Reswin said, Mark, you guys wanted Jimmy Glazer. We got them. Both combined don't have the resources for an open heart surgery. I did not want this, mate. Don't put that on me. And don't put it on everybody. I didn't want the Glazers to stay and I didn't want Ineos. So I'm not having any blame for that. So forget it. And I know a lot of people didn't want it either. A lot of people did. But Mazraoui, free kick. They should play the kids. Can't do any worse. It's 4:30 in Malaysia, says Muyad. English hate again, says Linda Ferguson. That's a disgrace by the fans. He hasn't been good, but that's a human there who is low in confidence, says Joey. I don't understand why Xerxes getting cheered off after being at the club for 5 months. As I say, I don't remember us treating other players who've been here longer like that, but they pay the price. They go to games. You try and stop them. This match is like watching a supercomputer playing against Spurs on FIFA, says Scooby. Shirt's too heavy. It just hurts, says Dejan. Sunday match has been issued an X rating, says Jason. Xerxes was absolutely shit, says Mario. I agree. I think he was. Thomas says, excuses. Player for player, United is better than many. Frank makes Brentford look great with Premiership players. The coach is at fault here. Well, Thomas, I disagree. I disagree. Mourinho got the sack because of the similar problems. Ollie got the sack for similar problems. Ten Hag got the sack for similar problems. Thomas Frank has got a collection of high mentality players who work hard and understand their job. We've got a collection of players that can't play football. Thomas Frank wouldn't get a tune out of these players if that's what you're trying to say. Brentford's not Man United and Brentford's squad's not Man United squad. They're a bunch of overpaid, arrogant shithouses. Why wake up early in Australia for this shit, says Lewis. Nothing more entertaining than seeing United's downfall, says Alex. Hypothetically, says Rogine, if you could sell everyone, are you really keeping Xerxes, Mazraoui and De Ligt just because they've been good? Doesn't mean they are the quality. I never said Xerxes has been good, Rogine. You might want to listen. I said Agate, De Ligt and Mazraoui have been 3 of our better players this season. And you're never going to sell everybody. Ahmad. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we've got player rating show after this and the fan forum. I think it's been bloody interesting because nobody's got higher than a 5. 6 is average. Rasmus needs some bloody support here. Not even Newcastle's best team, says Willie. What's Casemiro just done then? Has he just had a shot from some stupid place? Anana is crap, says Shan. Rashford's warming up. Oh God. I mean, it'll get worse. It gets worse if they bring him on and he puts a bit of effort in and everyone's like, he needs to... I mean, this could get a lot worse. Fucking hell. If that's the answer, then we're really fucked. If we're literally going to go back to trying to solve a problem that we've been trying to solve for 5 years, then we may as well give up. Unmanageable, says Declan. If you put Collier on for Casemiro, I think we'll get hold of the midfield, says Ankit. I don't know why he wouldn't do it. Ranić said it years ago, open heart surgery is needed to fix these issues. Interesting to see if the other 4 subs are made at half time, says Dan. Sam says Xerxes doesn't fit the system, which is absolutely fine. Because he wasn't bought by this manager, was he? That's a good ball. Come on, Ahmad. Elio says, as a Swede, I'm happy for Isaac, but this United side's making me depressed. Get them all out and buy Isaac. Don't pay them this week and give it to charity, says 7-inch Destroyer. Jake says, I actually think they were cheering making a change more than the fact it was Xerxes. Can you blame them? It's embarrassing. Well, mate, it's Christmas time. People have probably travelled all over England, all over Europe, some around the world, to come to Old Trafford. I know people are at Old Trafford for the first time to watch this. There is a standard. Yes, they're human beings, but there is a standard, and this standard is shit. If Buccaneers win Super Bowl, maybe Glazers sell Man United, says Mikael. They've just gone to Bruno in the crowd. Yeah, bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. United Stand, live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock. I mean, we'll be live for 4 hours tomorrow morning. I think there's so much to talk about. Don't show me the bloody league table. Sack me, admin. What's he bloody doing? Don't show me the bloody league table. You're bleaching my eyes, mate. Bloody hell. It's meant to be Christmas. I feel like my bloody cat's died. Putting the league table up when I'm like this. What would you do at half time? Well, I'll talk about it at half time, but personally, I would be well, I'd be making changes. That's what I'd be doing. I mean, I haven't even looked at the stats. I mean, we've had 50% possession, but we've had no shots on target. No corners. Just, yeah, so the possession's shit again, isn't it? That's a foul, surely. Need to send a couple of Newcastle players off. I don't know what for, but, you know, just make it up. Is Agate our most important player, says Simon? I genuinely don't know where... Look, honestly, we can make it about Agate, but we'd be better with Bruno as well. Like, this is dog shit. You know, it really... I mean, Casemiro does well there and then plays an absolutely incredibly pants pass. Every pass is shit. Even when we win the ball back, it's a shit pass. I can't understand how we've got professional footballers who can't play a 5-yard pass. And it's been going on for years. They literally can't pass the ball 5 yards. They're so bad. Jack Lad says, I'm a Newcastle fan and it's mice against men. Nesty says, how can people still believe in these players? Come on, Ericsson. Oh, forget it again! Again! A 5-yard pass and it's fucking rubbish. I just can't speak. I can't believe it. How many times? Go on, Rasmus. Close him down. Get one back before half time. Oh, mate. You can't play that pass. A few more performances like this and we will go down to here. We're not going to go down. This is just petulant, babyish behaviour. We will not go down. Look at the shit below us. They won't get enough points. Edge of the box. Where's the midfield? Why waste a day in the Caribbean to watch this as radiation? Three minutes added on. Haven't had a shot on top. Haven't had a shot on top. It's the bloody league again. It's the league again. Stop showing me that. Look, we're not going down. 22 points. We're 7 points from safety. We're not going down. I don't want to talk about that. That's ridiculous. Very predictable is what I would say. Very, very predictable. We said that the midfield would get overrun. We said that there'd be no service into the striker. Here's Mainu. Slip it into your left. Oh, get her. You could have took a fucking touch. You could have fucking sent a Christmas card to your mum. What are you fucking doing, you waste of space? 350 grand a week? I wouldn't give you the steam off my piss. Oh my fucking God. You've got so much time there. What are you fucking doing? You could have took a touch. He's taking the piss, he is. He's taking the piss. He's a chancer, Casemiro. He ain't fucking real. He did this last season with his penalty against Coventry. Oh, look at this down the middle. Fuck off. Mate, you could have wrote a shopping list, had a crap, wiped your arse, gone to a fucking wedding. Bloody hell. How is he missing that? Waster. 350k a week for that. That is absolutely disgusting. Oh, man. Is this the worst we've been since Sir Alex, says Kobe? I hope we know now why Bruno has to play. We look a mess, says Vitor. The way we're playing, we won't get enough points, says Christian. We need to organise something to get this awful ownership out, says Andrew. Ericsson's contract should be mutually terminated, says Free Immortal. I feel so sorry for Amorim. This looks like an EAFC game with the script. How Ricky misses all the Ericsson passes on Instagram, says Aka. At this point, I feel we need to play Onana in midfield. He's the only one who can play a pass, says Break. We would be better with Paul Scholes now, says Ryan. How can these players be on high paychecks when people are losing their jobs, says Kizza. It's time to have a video about replacing Onana, says SK. Why waste a day in the Caribbean? Isn't a manager world football that could turn this team around in a season, says Art. We have a coach with a clear vision, but he needs time to implement it. A few more performances like this and we go down, says Hero. That was from Art. If those fans who cheered Xerxes off end up cheering Rashford on, I'll be disgusted with this fan base. At least he was out there trying, says Luke. I'll give £100 to charity of your choice if we finish in the top half of the table. I support Amorim, but oh my God, he has the hardest job in Europe, says Andy Atherton. Mazda says open heart surgery, more like Botox surgery. Jack Ladd, we spoke about that. How can people still believe in these players, says Netsy. United relegated or Bournemouth top 4. What's more likely, says Caleb. Neville calling for Rashford, says Andy. He's a fucking idiot, mate. He really is. I don't know what Neville's on tonight, but God, if Ineos listened to him, I'm sorry. For me, the best Premier League right back ever. But as a pundit, he's just terrible. In my opinion. I mean, he fucking hates me, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, unbelievable, really. But look, if you bring in Marcus, I mean, this is a guy that is apparently read through and through and loves Man United. And he thinks that we should be bringing on a guy that hasn't apologised for Belfast, hasn't apologised for doing an interview and saying he wants to leave. And we should be bringing him on as the answer. Give me a break. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Get back to managing Valencia. Right, I'm angry. I am angry. I think we've all got a reason to be angry. Get your thoughts in. I mean, for me, look, I've played the game. We've all played the game. We've all seen these players. We've seen these players longer than Amorim. In many ways, we know more about these players than Amorim. And I think what I would say is that it was very obvious to me that a midfield of Casemiro and Eriksen was going to struggle against a very good midfield of Bruno Guimaraes, Joel Linton and Tonali. And from minute one, they did. But both goals are absolutely shit. They're so bad. They're good for Newcastle, but they're shit. They're uncontested crosses into the box where we lose two 50-50 headers. And Maguire and Martinez have got to both look at each other on the first one and Martinez on the second one. And this is another guy with the captain's armband who completely forgets he's a footballer when he puts it on. I don't think it's a captain's armband. I think it's an armband that you wear when you're learning to swim. Because whoever wears that captain's armband for Man United, they're splashing around, drowning. They don't know what they're doing. So I think, look, absolutely rubbish. The midfield was obvious. I said that it would be a graveyard shift for the attackers, and it has been. Nothing for Ahmad, nothing really for Rasmus. Obviously, Xerxes got subbed off. It's been an absolute shit show. But unfortunately, the defence have played absolutely terrible as well. I would be making changes at half-time. I think Xerxes getting took off and the crowd celebrating it wouldn't be personal to Xerxes. I think it's just that is a game where, you know, I took Seb to his first game a few weeks ago. There'll be a lot of people going to Old Trafford for the first time. There'll be a lot of season ticket holders who've been going for years. It's Christmas. You know, you could be doing other things. You go to watch Man United at Old Trafford and you expect a performance based on what this club is meant to be all about. And that is probably one of the worst, well, it's definitely the worst Old Trafford 45 minutes of the season. The inability to play a simple 5-yard pass is stunning to me. Absolutely stunning. And, you know, that chance for Casemiro then. Mate, last time I checked, you weren't Neymar. You weren't Vinicius Jr. and you certainly weren't R9. You were a holding midfielder for Real Madrid. When you slipped in one-on-one and you've got time to take a touch, you don't take it first time when you're a fucking number 6. You make sure you hit the fucking target. 350k a week? He thinks he's Kylian Mbappe. Bloody prat. That should have been 2-1. But then again, Tonali could have made it 3-0. For me, get Casemiro off and put Collier on. It can't be any worse. Ten Hag did this against Liverpool. He took Casemiro off at half-time. He put Collier on. The crowd reacted to it because it was like, fuck off the overpaid shithouse and get in the youngster, and at least it's something for the future. So I'd bring Collier on, I'd take Casemiro off, and I'd look to take Eriksen off, and I'd try Garnacho in the 10. Because this whole Eriksen-Casemiro thing, they're too slow. I don't know what league they could play in, but I tell you what, My mate down the road is 52. He plays walking football. I think Eriksen and Casemiro, I found you a job. Absolutely take those two players off. We need more pace. The funny thing is, it should be 2-1. We could still get something out of it, but he's got to make the changes at half-time. Absolutely. Do you think Amorim is up for 46-game league season? Says Riker. Look, honestly, I know we'll have a lot of people here who aren't United fans, and I know we'll have a lot of moronic United fans who want to burn another manager. But if you're thinking this is on Amorim, I can't help you, and any intelligent football analyst can't help you either. How is this on a manager who came in 6 weeks ago in the middle of the season, has had to play a game every 3 days, has had no transfer window, has key players injured again? What do you expect? On the one hand, you've got experts telling us that United's players are shit and aren't good enough. And then the performances are bad. Oh, it's the manager again. I mean, I'm looking straight at the problem. And the problem is we've recruited badly for a decade and these players are fucking shit. That's the problem. It doesn't matter who the manager is. Ruben Amorim at Sporting was a very, very good coach. Erik ten Hag at Ajax was a very good coach. Jose Mourinho, before he came to Man United, was a very, very good coach. The consistent problem at Man United is we can't play good football. I'm telling you now, we've got a load of players at this football club who only can play 4-3-3 compact counter. They can't play modern football. They can't play energetic, high-intensity passing football. They can't play a 5-yard pass. They're absolutely, they're basic footballers that United's recruitment team somehow thought were footballers. The recruitment's been terrible for 10 years. They're basic footballers. They really are. They don't have an IQ. I can't see Russell Martin in Mark says, Ethan, oh my God. I can't see when this starts to get better. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, says John. Well, you're probably right, John, because nobody's performing. Like normally you've got 3 or 4 players that you look at and you go, you can build with them. But the young players look bereft of confidence. The senior players look like they're fucking not good enough. It's a mess. But I did say this, and a lot of people said it as well. Bruno getting sent off against Wolves was disgusting. But many of us said, I guarantee, as bad as we are with Bruno, we'll be worse without him. And we have actually been worse without him. Rash R says, I'll catch up on the super chats in a minute. It's easier to do it that way. It's an invisibility. I've done that one as well. Do you think you'll make changes at half time? I hope so, because you've got to put a performance in the second half. A lot of people saying, do you think he'll bring Rashford on? He probably will, but honestly, as somebody that's been a manager, who's watched football, if Amorim brings Rashford on and United play well, who does that strengthen? It doesn't strengthen you as a manager. It makes you look wrong and it makes Rashford win. So I think that would be a strange thing to do. But he might do it. But honestly, I think it's a weird one if he brings him on. But, you know, Rashford wins if he comes on and he does well. And look, I want him to come on and do well if he gets brought on. But do you think that's a handball? Probably. It probably is a handball, but you know, I'm not going to go looking for excuses. The bottom line is Newcastle have been way better than Man United, and we can't moan about technical rules like that. What do you think about Xerxes getting cheered off, Mark, says Simon? You know, I think fans pay money to watch football, and that was shit. And I don't think the fans think Xerxes is the problem. I just think he was the player that got subbed off. I guarantee you if it had been Casemiro or Eriksen or Rasmus or Dalot, they would have cheered as well. I don't think it was personal to Xerxes. I think it was just, you know, he was the sacrificial lamb. And I think that's what happened there. But I'm very interested to see if he's going to make any subs here at half time. Let me just catch up on some of your super chats, by the way. Lots of people have been making them. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Player rating show straight after this, where you can mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Matthew says, we conceded a lot at the start of the second half recently. Good point, Matthew. At the very least, they need to fight back. They're getting bullied all over the pitch, says Bernard. I know it's a hard game to bring a young lad on, but Collier for Casemiro, please. Goat Smoker, I mean, I find it incredible, and I said it before the game. We tried to sell Casemiro and Eriksen in the summer. That you're going into a game like this and you're starting them as a midfield too. I'm no genius. I'm not. But for me, that is a huge... Look, where's the tweet? What did I say at the start of the game? I literally said... that midfield looks like it's going to get run through by that Lily Phillips. And lo and behold, it has happened. We discredit ourselves as fans in relation to the knowledge we have of our own team. Carragher blaming Amorim for players in the wrong position, says Marcus. Yeah, Carragher's career's gone really good as a manager, hasn't it? Just tuned in. Thoughts on cheering Xerxes off? Done that. And we have Liverpool next. Says Ray. Jack of trades. In a world where we have players doing jobs all season and a surplus of centre-backs, I'm surprised we've never seen Martinez in the midfield. You're spot on this. Entirely down to bad players. Amorim needs time, says Mitchell. Carragher blaming Amorim's formation. This clown's happening. I mean, look, Kuna, I'm happy to say this. Clip it up. Tag Carragher. Tag Neville. Tag Sherwood. Tag them all. You're ex-players who played at a very high level. But when you stopped playing, you left your football IQ at the door. What is it you don't understand about Manchester United recruiting a manager with a distinctive style of play, and because the results aren't going well, he's meant to abandon that to appease you? If it didn't go well for Pep at Man City at the start, should he started playing like Pulis to get results? We've literally recruited a guy who plays 3-4-3 and a distinctive style of football, and we've given him a bunch of players who can't do it. Why should he change? Maybe he should keep doing it and showing the owners who recruited him, why did you recruit me when you have got players who can't do it and you're not giving me the players to do it? He needs to play 3-4-3 every fucking minute of every fucking game, because the minute he goes to a back four to survive, he's dead. The minute you start playing survival football, you're dead. Why is it Carragher, Neville and everyone else can't figure this out, and yet they had careers at the highest level? You cannot, as a manager, abandon what you're about to play survival football, because you'll never leave survival football until it kills you. He has to stick to it, 100%. It amazes me. I mean, we had this from Robbie Savage the other week. You cannot do it. Xerxes was in tears because he felt humiliated, says Joey. I mean, that is sad. He's only just come to the club. It's been an absolute fucking nightmare. The manager that recruited him's been sacked. It is bad, but, you know, as somebody said, if Rashford comes on and gets cheered and you've got Xerxes coming off and getting treated like that, it's not fair, is it? But I don't think it was personal to Xerxes. I think it was just the fact that he got subbed. Sydney Sweeney's boyfriend says, stayed up till 4 a.m. to watch this bunch of pathetic players run around. Shout out to those watching in Asia. It ain't easy. Is it down to the coaching team, says 5 Cantonars? No. How many managers are we going to blame for this? It's down to the players. They're not capable, mate. Bring in Ange, they wouldn't be able to play his system. Bring in Arteta, they wouldn't be able to play his system. Get Klopp out of retirement, they wouldn't play his system. They can't play. They can't do it. They can't play. How can it be about the manager when you've just watched another 45 minutes where every fucking minute somebody's misplacing a 5-yard pass? You can't coach that. Seb can play a 5-yard pass to me in the garden every bloody time. You can't coach footballers to do basic things. And we can't do basic things. We don't pick up the runner. We don't stop crosses. We don't mark people. We can't play a 5-yard pass. It's just shit. This is not coaching. This is the basics of football you learn at under sevens. Storming off to the tunnel after being here for half a season is disgusting, says Ivor. Sell Xerxes. It's not a captain's armband, it's an invisibility band, says Stephen. The amount of low IQ people in this fan base is scary, says Faris. These people doubting the manager need to ask themselves a simple question, says Kevin Miller Music. Who gets this team winning games? Have anyone answer? We all know the answer, no one. I expect Amorim to make brain dead. I don't expect Amorim to make brain dead selections and substitutions and not be a coward and go back his own decision. Portuguese league is his level, says Rash. Glenn Castle says, I don't understand why play a system when we don't have the players to play it. I don't get it. Well, that's on Ineos. Ineos, look, I never wanted to see Man United play with a back three. I said that 2 years ago. I don't want to change Man United from a back four because I'm a traditionalist. But I was very excited about Amorim. But Ineos did that. They went for the out-of-the-box, out-there signing. I don't know. Gary's too busy sniffing around stadium redevelopment, says Goat. Pogba fixation of Man United, says Rolling the Dice. A winning Ruben team is years away. Bring in Ange, says Amash. Give it Southgate, says Papa. Don't give up, please. We are red, says Tom. And I'm a supporter since '99. This is the most unlikable group of players I've ever watched. No heart, no passion, no brains. Players are the problem, says Julian. Back Amorim, Glazers out, Ineos out, players out, and Neville shut up, says PJ. Right, we're about to start off the second half. And interestingly enough, no subs. Which, I mean, look, maybe he's going to stick with the fact that we were doing, well, we weren't doing well. We were doing a little bit better. But look, hopefully Matthew's wrong. We concede a lot of goals at the start of the second half. Yeah, we do. Critique Ange, but let off Amorim, no change style, says C1. Not manager out, but team selection was a concern, says Dewald. Coaching teams behind the manager, says 5 Cantonars. As long as we ain't relegated, Amorim should stay, says Jims. That was shite, but at least listening to Dixon lose his mind on basic defenders' errors has been good banter, says Northeast Midwest. Ineos are to blame. No good came from getting a manager who needs a whole new system mid-season. Yeah, I mean, look, this is incredible, really, that Romano was talking today about how Manchester United are going to, not interested in summer signings. Sorry, not interested in January signings. They're looking towards the summer. I mean, are they not aware that we are absolutely shit and don't look like we can win any game at the moment? You can't be planning for the summer when you're playing this bad. It's emergency time. Imagine United being able to find and buy players like Tonali, Bruno Gomes. Our midfield is always the worst on the pitch, says Louis. Players are missing easy passes because they don't yet fully know where they should be in the system. It will get better in time, says River Mano. While a small part of me is happy for Isak, my heart breaks for United, says Alderino. I'm Swedish. How did it come to this? It's painful to watch. Amorim is showing how bad these players are. Low IQ and little effort. Time to move this crap on, says Adrian. At this point, I just can't be asked now, says Will. Don't give up, says Tom. Congratulations on 2 million, Mark. Amazing. A shining light in these dark times. Thank you very much. To Marlow. My biggest fear is that Ineos is going to recreate the Nice situation with Man United. They're destroying what was already damaged, says Z3 Music Official. My biggest, McFred would do a job right now, says Kian. Xerxes walking off shows this club has a bunch of spoiled, overpaid brats who need to get slapped and sold. And if Rashford comes on, Amorim loses all respect, says Nan. But I think if he does bring Rashford on, it does undermine him. I agree. It's... And look, that's nothing. If Rashford came on and scored a hat-trick and we won, I'd be happy. I want Man United to win. But from an Amorim point of view, you've just lost whatever it is you were talking about because the player comes out of it looking good. Keep Rude, but bring back Ralph, says Job. Sorry, keep Ruben, but bring back Ralph, says Joe. Well, we haven't got a director of football at the moment, have we? Niles says, the fact that we've got fans who think a coach can make these professional footballers execute a 5-yard pass is ridiculous. Well, we're attacking the Stretford end. Let's hope we actually do attract the Stretford end. Why are we knocking in crosses towards Ahmad when he's being marked by Dan Burn? I mean, this is what I mean about low IQ. Mate, David Beckham and Trent Alexander-Arnold couldn't put a cross on Ahmad's head when he's being marked by Dan Burn. You may as well just give them the ball back and say, I don't want it. It's very difficult to get behind the club at the moment, says Haggendal, both for on and off the pitch behaviour. Ineos need to show some leadership or jog on. And the Sleepy Ape says Rashford should play, needs to suffer and feel the fans' anguish. I'm trying to think who we've got that can come on. He probably will come on because, well, Garnacho maybe. I told you I'd be drinking tonight. Training for New Year. Do you think Rasmus will ever get any service, says Oscar? I'm convinced Hoyland is Lukaku. Love the content and channels, says Saeed. I think, look, I wish he'd scored that chance. I don't think it was an easy chance, but, you know, on his left foot, I think Haaland scores that. And you sort of have to score those chances in a team like this because they're going to be few and far between. That's another... Actually, he has made the pass there. Ruben Neves, contract expiring this summer. Is it worth going for him? Premier League proven, says Cam. An ideal signing in January, says Kian. And Ethan says, I'm triple captaining Salah on the weekend. King Louis says, hope you had a good Christmas. Thank you for always being here. Your content has helped me through some rough times. I just don't see where our next win is coming from, says King Louis. Thanks, mate. Hope you had a good Christmas as well. Thanks for being part of the community. Look, the bottom line is, at least we're in it together. Corner to Man United. Should be looking at James Stott, homegrown talent from Chadaran, says 15 Challing Spectrum. If Amorim brings Rashford in, it's because he believes that Rashford can change something, says Hitch. Ipswich beating Chelsea. Super Kieran McKenna, says Governor. Yeah, but how many times have Ipswich been done late in a game, mate? I wouldn't be singing anything about Ipswich at the moment. Ericsson. Come on! What the fuck is that? No one's anticipating the ball. Marlowe says, very naive by Amorim to start Ericsson and Casemiro. Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. I mean, look, I want Amorim to stay. I want him to do well. But he's not gonna not make mistakes, is he? And Casemiro and Ericsson is a big mistake. One of the things that really bugs me about United is how physically weak they are, says Salim. Anthony Jury says McTominay walks into this team. I don't think that's a major statement, mate. Somebody said in the first half that Paul Scholes walks into this team in his late 40s, and I agree. If Amorim isn't the right man for the job, then Ineos have to look at themselves. If Amorim goes, Ineos have to go, says Mazza. Where do people assume Rashford will change the game? He's the poster boy for heads being dropped. He's not that guy, says Kevin. What's the wine? Is it Merlot or Shiraz, Mark, says James? It's... I don't know what it is. Pericone, Sicilia. It doesn't say. I'm not a red wine sort of connoisseur, really. Maguire has to go. We need to take the opportunity while we have it. He's terrible. Apologies to Seb, says Pete the Meat. Zebra Man says Xerxes to Juve and ball out under Motta again. You know what annoys me the most, though, is that look, Newcastle have been better than Man United. They deserve to be winning. There's no doubt about it. But what annoys me the most is that every goal we've conceded in recent weeks, whether it's Forest, you know, Anana making 2 mistakes, Martinez made a mistake, Bournemouth, mistakes, Wolves, mistakes. Every goal that we've conceded at the moment is like really... It is a Sicilian wine. It's Pericone Sicilia. It's nice. It's nice, actually. Never had it before. But, yeah, it's... all the goals are mistakes. And I know goals happen because of mistakes, but the mistakes that we're making are just so amateur. This is all part of the journey. Frodo and Sam went through a lot of up and downs before their final victory, says Bobby. Look, I love Manchester United. I believe in Amorim. I'd never thought I'd be saying this after the amount of losses we've had. And it could be the 3rd Premier League game in a row that we don't score a goal. But I don't blame the manager. So I'm here for the manager. Good play by Mainu. Martinez. Into Rasmus. He needs some help. Into Ahmad. Can't stop thinking about the iconic Ralph Rangnick quote, says Brendan. Anana is our biggest weakness. We need a new goalkeeper, says Mazwi. Rack City says, the United stand has become a programme for Man United addicts. And Nuno needed a pre-season at Forest, and look where Forest are now. Give Amorim a pre-season at least, says Dob. I'm going back to supporting Birmingham, says Ethan. Look, I don't need to say clip it because everybody will, but we are at the lowest of the low. You know, we're as low as a worm's chuff at the moment, and I'm still going to say we're going to win the Europa League. Because the Europa League's got nothing to do with what's happening in the Premier League. And it's 2 months away until it gets difficult. I still think we'll win the Europa League. And everyone's going to say, stop it, stop it, stop it, you've had too much. But I'm not changing my mind. I think we'll win the Europa League. It's the same as what happened last year. We had a terrible season and we won the FA Cup. It's going to happen. H says we should investigate these players for match fixing. Everyone says you're pissed. Well, that may be. I'm pissed off. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're very close to 2,003,000. We're about 200 away. Thanks, everyone, for getting involved. I mean, one positive is it's still only 2-0. Trippier's coming off here, but I actually think Liveramento's better. Liam says, Onana has been shocking since the start. Let's be honest about this. What I'd give for David to be back, I'd take a retired Ben Foster over him. And we bought Ten Hag inherited. We thought Eric Ten Hag inherited the worst squad, says Rahil. We were low last year. How low can we still go, says Brendan. Our attack is so bad that every opponent can isolate Ahmad, and then we have nothing. I'd just love to see Ahmad on the right-hand side again. Even in this system, I'd like to see, you know, even if it was Garnacho and Rashford and Eriksen came off and then Rasmus stayed up front, you put Ahmad on the right. It's criminal what the Glazers have done to our club. Anyone who can keep them in power is an enemy of the club too, says AB. I mean, we have got better. If you've tuned in late and you're not happy, you know, can we just have a thought, a minute's silence for everybody who watched the first 20 minutes? I mean, that first 20 minutes was as bad as anything I've ever seen in a United shirt. It was incredible. And it's not great now. Never trust anyone who says Jim will fix it, says Dan. I'm nicking that for the match reaction. I played a United career mode with 3-4-3 and I finished 7th and won the Europa League, says GG. The game is missing a leader. No one's leading, says Milford. Imagine winning the Europa League and getting relegated, says Anthony Jury. Payne Rains, thanks for becoming a member, by the way. Big up to everyone who's got a badge in the chat. Thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate that. As Remix says, as Ranić said, the club needs open heart surgery. Amorim coming to Man United is like getting on racing car with no engine, oil change and flat tyre. How can he perform, says Steve. Thank you, Steve. Delo with a long throw. Eriksen. Maguire. Mainu! Oh, blocked. Come on, Eriksen's the pass. And again. Go back, go back, go back. That's the cross. Maguire, go back, go back, go back. Oh, Delo, just pass it to someone better than you. Eriksen, come on. Oh, nearly on the bloody halfway line now. Go on, Mainu. I think Mainu's been good since he came on. Delo, put the cross in. No, put the cross in. Don't go to your left foot. Goal! Post! Oh, blocked. Get out. Oh, I can't believe it. Delo with the cross. Maguire got his head on it and he hit the bloody post. Nelly says, how long before Old Trafford is nicknamed the Theatre of Screams? Forget about open heart surgery. This club needs a resurrection, says KJM. Whole stadium singing Amorim's Red Army, says Dazza. good. Is that true? I hope so. This surely can't get any worse, says... how do you think we will win the Europa League if we're 7th, says Jake. Just watch. Are they really singing Amorim's Red Army? I love that. JD says it feels like Casemiro is sabotaging on purpose. I think Casemiro is the sort of guy that when he doesn't get picked, he just becomes quite lackadaisical. You can have Ollie skip in January if you want, says Jensen. I'd rather have a bag of skips. No idea how Casemiro is still on the pitch. I've lost count how many times he's given the ball away, says Patrick. And also about Casemiro, I've seen a couple of times where he's gone in quite recklessly on a tackle that he's only got a 50% chance of winning. Now, fortunately, he's won it both times, but mistime it, yellow card. Here's Rasmus. Bad touch. Martinez is going to get booked here. Ethan says, Hearts of Middle-Earthian beat Man United, says Ethan. Thanks for all the super chats tonight. Thanks everyone who subscribed. What we got? Ipswich are beating Chelsea 2-0. Liverpool have won the title, haven't they? Villa are beating Brighton 2-1. Chelsea losing 2-0 to Ipswich. I mean, that's a concern for us. Bloody hell. But we need a new player for every position we play, says Daniel. Oh, come on. Let's get one back. We haven't scored for 2.5 games. Oh, he's so bad. I mean, how is Casemiro still on the pitch? I know someone else, I'm nicking it from someone else, but it's true. I never thought I'd say this, but looking at that league table, we're 7 points from safety, and the good thing is we've got Ipswich at Old Trafford. What's happened to me? What's happened to me? I'm actually happy because we've got Southampton and Ipswich at home. Oh, what has happened to this club? And we've got the second biggest wage bill in the league. I mean, if you want an analogy for that, I can't even think of one off the top of my head. We are paying so much money. Garnacho and Yoro coming on. Don't know what Yoro would be doing. Maybe it's Delit. Maybe it's just minutes. Do you think United can do the double over Watford next season, says Dave? I think Heisenberg's right. Mainu's actually had a good game. Do you think... I do think he's had a good game. Oh, I thought it was our corner. Oh, here we go. Get ready for this. Get ready for this shit show. Cross into the box, coming for Newcastle. Watchalong. Look at him. Always in the same place. Dead centre. Sellotaped to the goal line. Vacant look on his face. Haven't watched the first half due to work. Thoughts on the first half? Yeah, don't watch it, Football Star Gaming. Absolutely shit, especially the first 20 minutes. Can we apply for a refund on Casemiro, Mark? Says Mo. Well, he's coming off, and it's well overdue. Absolute. Can I get an apology? Can I get an apology? Every time I've said Casemiro's shit this season, oh, you're picking on him, you're picking on him. I want apologies now. Absolutely now. Martinez is coming off as well. He's obviously not happy with him. Maguire gets the armband. Probably should have had it in the first place. £350,000 a week for Casemiro, by the way. Yeah, absolute shit. Is Garnacho leaving, says Pappy? I don't know. The last two goals we scored were massive mistakes by Spurs. That's from Marlowe. We'll score if Anthony comes on, says Keel. Well, Anthony should be coming on ahead of Rashford, really, when you think about it. Is there an argument to be made for putting a purely youth team out, perhaps with 2 or 3 of the performing senior players going forward, says Mark Doyle. You can't do it against Liverpool at Anfield, no. How long before Amorim goes grey or bold, says Jay. And Josh says, we've had the open heart surgery by a cheap doctor, but they forgot to stitch the wound. And my brother, that was from Josh, my brother Jensen says his favourite player is Casemiro. What do you think of that, Mark, says Owen? I think football's not for him. Mo says, can we get a refund on Casemiro? The thing is, Casemiro season 1 was player of the year. I know Rashford won it, but I thought Casemiro was our best player. What's your prediction against Liverpool, says Kian? My prediction is I don't want to fucking play. I don't want to watch it. I genuinely wouldn't normally say that, but I don't want to watch it. There is no hope. If somebody said to me now, you lose 2-0 to Liverpool, where do I sign? It could be anything. Looking good today, Mark. What kind of gel do you use, says Max? Oh, I can't remember what gel I use, but I do use gel. I'm old school. I'll tell you what, on the morning show, I'll get it out. The gel. Man United, this doesn't look like an European club, this game. It's like I'm seeing a mid-table Brazilian team, says Ferraris. And Jason says, so you think we can win the Europa League with a team of crap like this? You're so wrong. Jason, you're not listening. We're obviously not going to win the Europa League now, but the Europa League doesn't get serious for 2 months. We've got a transfer window and we've got 2 more months of Amorim. He's only had 1 month. By the time the Europa League gets decent, we'll have had double what he's had already. I'm telling you now, we'll win the Europa League. Then, look, I said Liverpool were going to win the Champions League and everyone said, you're having a laugh. They're top of the Premier League. They're going to win that. And they're top of the Champions League. So, I see things. I don't see dead people. I'm not like the Sixth Sense. But in a footballing terms, I do see things. I don't always get it right, but I do see things. We're going to win the Europa League. I've said it sober as well. Himalayan Pig says, how much are we paying Amorim? What has been the progress so far? Leeds versus Man United would be a class game right now, says Dylan. I don't want to play Leeds at the moment. Maguire, you got to slide. No, Maguire, you got to get in. I think Maguire and De Ligt just don't communicate there, but I think Maguire should just slide across. That doesn't score anyway. No shots on target in the entire game. Rizla says, Casemiro's like spending 350k a week on a gust of wind. What are your plans for New Year's Eve, Mark, says Raz. Just occupy my mind with not thinking about Man United. What's the difference between Titanic and The Sixth Sense? I see dead people, says Ross. He's been waiting to do that all year. Genuine question for Mark. How long do you reckon it will take before Man United get back to their winning ways, says Tom. Tom, look, I think I understand the impatience and I understand the moaning. And look, you can listen to Carragher and Neville, and these are players that have played the game at the highest level but can't help themselves from talking out their arse about changing formations or, you know, some sensationalist headline, because unfortunately, a lot of people in the mainstream cannot deal with reality. I'm absolutely fine with whatever's going to happen this season, however many games we're going to lose, because I know why. It's on players. So, look, we'll lose on Sunday. We'll lose against Arsenal in the Cup. And how many losses in a row will that be? 5, 6? I don't know. But I'm still not sacking the manager because these players are shit. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, but we've got to stay on target. You can't... Ten Hag got sacked, rightly or wrongly, and Mourinho got sacked, rightly or wrongly, after 2 or 3 transfer windows. Amorim's had no transfer window yet, and he might not get one in January by the sounds of it. So until he's allowed to bring in his own players, you can't recruit a manager and give him everybody else's mistakes. So yeah, it's shit. It's really, really hard to watch, but the journey hasn't even started with Amorim yet. You can't ask him to do... We made this mistake before with Rangnick. Rangnick's results were terrible, and he told us the problem, and he never had a transfer window, and we sacked him. You can't bring in a guy that's talking sense, and just because he loses games, sack him. You've got to give him the tools to do the job. So it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Do you think the Glazers would sell if we're relegated? Says not now, Dave. And it's just the game says this just shows its players all along. Yeah. United horrible, lovely to watch, says Thomas Gamble. Come on, you Gunners. Yeah, you've bottled the league though, haven't you? I mean, that's terrible. You know, you were second to Man City and, you know, so close to winning it. And then Man City fall off and you do as well. Bloody hell. I wanted you to win the league. I don't want Liverpool to win the league, but that must be horrible. I mean, we've got no chance of winning the title, but, you know, you're so close to winning the league 2 years in a row. Man City fall off and then you do as well. It must be hard. Thoughts with Arsenal fans. If you fart, do you leave the room or smell your brew, says Jake? Oh, come on. Here is Ahmad shoots. That's not going to go for a corner, mate. Put some respect on Mainu's name. He's been the difference since he came on, says Marlow. Marlow, I'm just going to copy and paste that and tweet it. But know that all the retweets and everything are Marlow's. I just think it's a really good thing. So we'll put that out. I have done it in the past. If I see a really good chat, we're a community, I will copy and paste it and just tweet it. Because we're a team. You know, I've got nearly 1 million followers on Twitter, so that message now goes out to 1 million people, and all the people who like it and interact, that's because of you, Marlow, so well done. Couldn't have put it better myself, basically. Come on, let's get a... Look, I know we're going to lose, but at least score a goal. Would love to see you on Sky Sports against Carragher and Neville. They wouldn't do it, Kian. They're scared. Look, I can be a prat, but I wouldn't swear. I wouldn't do any... I'd just have a proper conversation about... I'd say, why are you saying that he should change his tactics? How moronic is that? He's been recruited for a certain system, and after a month, you're saying he should go to a back four. You may as well sack him and give the job to Pulis. What? We're trying to build something. You have to... You've got to stick with it. By hook or by crook. Go on, Ahmad. Corner. Tommy says, one player you'd sign right now, who would it be? One. Mate, we need a holding midfielder. We need a good number 10 who's mobile. We need a left-footed player. If I could only do one, it would be a holding midfielder or a left-footed player. Oh, you're having a laugh. Yoro. How close was this? Needed to go in. It's not far away, but it's not in, is it? Kobe says we're shit. Do you think Ineos are deliberately driving the value down to force the Glazers to sell? And Ryan says, have you got some straws I could clutch at? No. Well, the cameras are on Rashford, but... I don't know... I don't know what you gain by bringing Rashford on. I really don't. Unless he's staying and, you know, there's another chance for him. I don't know what you get from bringing him on. I'm surprised Sir Jim Radcliffe's not at many games as well. I mean, I genuinely thought that local lad, lifelong Man United fan, would actually turn up to most games. He doesn't, does he? Garnacho's not been very good since he came on. I was literally just thinking the same thing. Yeah, I know he's been on a few minutes now, and but look, I don't know how many of you watch the United Stand every day. Please do subscribe. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock, every night at 10 o'clock, every night at 8 o'clock. I said this on Friday last week, that what I've been told is that there is a chance that Garnacho could be sold in January. It's not set in stone, but it's the situation is described as tense in the sense that the relationship hasn't been repaired and he is pure profit. So, you know, I might go and stand in a corner and stare at the wall. It's not now, Dave. Latest accounts show 970 million in debt and we still owe 331 from existing transfers. Oh my God. Pete, imagine owing even 10 million on some of these players. It just shows you how bad the recruitment's been. Hi Mark, what's with the English media in this obsession with a single player? It's scary and embarrassing. Mate, the media in our country is terrible. You know, I don't know why other countries are paying our pundits to go over. They're shit and they're not respected. Like, they're full of shit. If American sport and football wants to grow, don't just look at who's on Sky and TNT and fly them over, because they're not respected. They're full of shit. They are absolutely full of shit, and you're not going to improve the knowledge in your own sport, in your own country, by listening to that. Ahmad isn't to number 10, says Dan. He's more effective on the wing. I agree. Rooney's Plymouth can beat this team, says Tucker. Can we both go back to the 90s, says Stephen. Yeah, you can just watch... I watched Man United beat... Look, there's a really good YouTube video. I watched it just before Christmas. It's St James's Park. It's Newcastle against Man United, and we beat them 6-2. Watch it tonight and just pretend it's reality. United's man of the match, says Red Band. Mainu for me. Yeah, he's the only one who's sort of been half decent. I mean, the player ratings are going to be hilarious, I think. JDV says, is it me or do we just dribble too much and then pass instead of just passing and then moving around? Yeah, 100%. Too individualistic. Everyone's always looking to get the shot off. The pass is too late or too quick. Can someone bring the real Mazraoui back? Says Marlowe. That needed to see there. Delo, there was a pass to Ericsson. That's a prime example. There was a first time pass to Ericsson. Take a touch. Jason says, do you think the answer is to stay as we are until July? I think there is no reason not to buy players in January. Like, you're going to have to buy players. I always look at it like this. We probably need 7 or 8 players to play an Amorim system. You're never going to sign 7 or 8 players in one summer. So use January to get an extra couple in. But I don't know. Have we even hit rock bottom yet, says Bartley? No, because we're going to Anfield on Sunday. So we've not hit rock bottom yet because our next 2 games are Liverpool and Arsenal. I see again there. 3 times, really bad passes. Delo poor again, yeah. Jack Willis says, Ashworth recruited most of Newcastle team. Interesting, Ineos ditched him. I don't think he did, though. I don't think he did, actually. Brighton have just equalised against Villa, by the way. I think he came in after Bruno G. Mark, would you take Olmo in January, says Bartley. Danny Olmo. I'd take Danny Dyer at the moment. Rashford on 87 minutes to say goodbye, says Keel. Anthony's coming on. Mark, would you notice how all teams are now double stacking, Ahmad? Mate, I've explained this. I've already explained this. This is basically what teams do. They leave Delo alone. They overstack Ahmad and they let the ball go to Delo because they know he'll pass backwards or shoot. Sheriff says, "How do we get Ineos and the Glazers out?" Well, we shouldn't have stopped. That's what should have happened. The protests and everything were happening, and people just wanted to go, it's fine, Ineos are here. But the worrying thing was 25% ain't 100%, and the Glazers still own the club. Neville's going in on the new signings again. Says Flash Talks. He's a prat. Chelsea really got done by Ipswich, says Jez. They did. 90 plus 3, and they're 2-0 down. T-Ball's just gifted 5 memberships, by the way. You're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much. If you could keep 5 players to build your team around, who is staying? I can only keep 5, Tommy. Mainu, Ahmad, Ugarte, Mainu, Ahmad, Ugarte, Dalit, Mazraoui, probably. Good. What a great question. Amrabat would have been handy. This is 2 times champ. Yeah, but that's not, you know, this is not on Amorim. Amorim wasn't here then. I mean, Ten Hag wanted to keep him. What about Rasmus? I can only keep 5. Mainu's got to stay. Ahmad's got to stay. Agate's got to stay. And I think Dalit and Mazraoui have been better this season. So I can only keep 5. I mean, what about Yoro as well? So look, 5's not that. There's probably 8 or 9 I would keep, if I'm being honest. But if I had to, 5 was what I was asked. Go on, Mazraoui. Back into Ahmad. Oh, good defending by Gordon as usual. Good block. Come on. Oh, Ericsson over the bar. Fucking hell. I just want us to score now. Offside anyway. That's the trouble when someone says 5, because people are going, what about Yoro? And I'm like, I can only keep 5. No words on Garnacho. Literally spoke about him 5 minutes ago and also said he could leave. Delit's off for Anthony. What are the odds that Amorim gets sacked, Rashford stays and Southgate appointed to Zolly? I tell you what, I'd find it very hard. Very, very hard to go live. I still would, but I'd find it very hard. And not in a sexual way, in a depressing way. Reading fans stormed their pitch due to bad ownership, says Miggs, along with fans in both Italy and Spain. What is going to take United fans to do the same? Marius says, what if you could keep 5 more? Yoro. I struggle then. I struggle then. If I've got to keep 5 more, so I'm already keeping Mainu and Mazraoui and Dalit and Ahmad and Ugarte. So I would keep Yoro, Bruno, Rasmus, Martinez. I don't know. I mean, I'm scraping anyway. It's hard. I think a lot needs to do. Rashford on the bench so he can say goodbye to fans. Was never getting on, says Stephen. What do you think about having wing-backs like Frimpong and Mendes on the 2 sides? It's really attacking, in my opinion, says T-Ball. Hetton says, Lindelof, Ericsson, Rashford, Evans, Anthony, Casemiro bound to leave by the summer. But who does leave in January? At least 4 transfers should happen, says Hitton. Lee Jenkins, welcome to Members Club. Mark, the Glazers tried to Tom Brady, Marcus Rashford, and it backfired badly. We have a long way to go. Faith in Amorim is just the start. And Mr. Fred says, I'm a lifelong United fan and seriously considering watching MILFs on the hub instead of this. Well, mate, you should be considering that anyway. There's nothing wrong with that. One player that obviously has to go. I think it's really unfair to stand here and say one player that has to go, because it's not one player's fault. The reason Man United are where they are is because of the Glazers, and maybe because Ineos kept the Glazers in. It's not one player's fault. Now, obviously, Rashford needs to go. Casemiro needs to go. Eriksen needs to go. Luke Shaw needs to go. Maybe Mason Mount needs to go. There are plenty of players that need to go, but it's unfair to pin it on one player. I think the players are the problem, but I don't think any of them... All their problems are because they've been allowed to do what they do. You know, Casemiro wouldn't get away with what he's done under a different manager. At Liverpool, it just wouldn't happen. So I think it's unfair to say one player, because I think there's a lot. Who post Sir Alex would you give another chance, says Sam. Happy New Year, says Rory. Martinez got to go. He's playing terrible, says Regan. He has been subbed off the last 20 minutes. Fair play to Amorim. He's taken the worst United side I've ever seen under Ten Hag and actually made them worse, says S. I feel so bad for Amorim. He was brought into chaos, says Temi. Would you take Ange, says Spurs? No, I'm not taking anyone. How can we go from that first half performance to second half? These players are so unreliable and unpredictable. Would you take Lookman, says Josh? I mean, I'd take any... The trouble is, I don't look at Lookman or a player like that and think they're the solution. But we're so bad at the moment that, of course, you'd take Lookman. You'd take Harvey Barnes. He's not even starting for Newcastle. I don't even know if he's fit. Is Garnacho suffering from the same one-dimensional style play that Rashford struggles with, says Michael? Any update on Edison, says Scott? Yeah, I don't think we'll get him. Thanks everyone who subscribed tonight. Welcome to the new members as well. And thank you for all the super chats. Thank everyone who's tuned in. At least it got better than the first 20 minutes. Which was, I mean, look, we're going to lose. But I predicted 2-0. But after the first 20 minutes, I thought it might be about 6. All I do each night is pray. All I do each night is pray. Hoping that we'll be a better team one day. All I do each night is sing. Yeah, yeah. Hoping that that time will one day begin. Yeah, yeah. I'm losing it. If you don't laugh in the face of adversity, then what are you? It might be the red wine, but... Oh, Cole, yeah, he's pissed, yeah. I can't believe our starting midfielders cost us 500k a week. It's embarrassing, says David. We spoke about that in the first half. We'll definitely mention it in the match reaction. Can Forest be title contenders? Don't talk to me about Forest. I mean, you know that YouTuber, that bitter YouTuber who started that rumour all those years ago because his channel was failing and the United stand was doing well. He started this Forest rumour against me. Same guy who on Christmas Day tweeted, "I wish Goldbridge was dead." So I think he's got problems. What a prat he looks, because his channel's tiny and mine's massive. And it's not the only thing. But also, I'm talking about my forehead. But also, if I was a Forest fan, then hello, Forest are second in the league and Man United are heading towards a relegation battle. Now would be the time to grab the shirt, slip it on, and I'd go viral. Imagine 10 years in the making and the joke's on you. Here it is, the Forest shirt. I've mugged you off for 10 years. I mean, look, come on. All that bollocks needs to stop right now. I mean, it started from a waste of space. And if there was anything true about that, then now would be the time, wouldn't it? Because They could get Champions League football. We won't get relegated. Mark Pendleton says, Rasmus is isolated. All he's missing is a netball with a red handprint on him to keep him company. This is such a disjointed collection of players. Are you in a relegation fight? No, we won't get relegated. Would you consider doing the Forest stand? Listen to what I just said. You're making it worse, we'd take that, says Kenneth. Are we talking about Mousen? Maybe. Chris. Kalia, welcome to Members Club. So Real says, as a Swede, I think Amorim should sign Isak. They've got no bloody money, mate. Alex says, Liverpool are 10 clear of Chelsea in a game to spare. Yeah, blah. Welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. I genuinely think that Arsenal won't beat Brentford on New Year's Day as well. So Liverpool will be even further ahead. Are we playing Liverpool in the league? Oh, fucking hell. It may as well just take the points. He's only added 3 minutes on out of sympathy. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Don't forget Manscaped, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TUS20. I mean, I'd like us to score a goal now, but I genuinely... I'd like us to score a goal because we haven't scored for 3 games, but... we're not going to get anything out of this game, are we? Remember to do your player ratings, marking every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Your letter was only the start of it. 1 letter, and now you're a part of it. Now he's done it. Jim has fixed it for you. And you, and you, and bop. I never thought I'd be singing that again, because as somebody said... never trust somebody called Jim to fix it. But here we go. Love the glasses, says Mitchell. I don't think we've won since I bought these glasses. I'm thinking about binning them. I'm not sure we'll ever score again, says United 85. And Lucian said, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much. Get a haircut, mate. Apparently, somebody... Lucian says, no, it wasn't Lucian. Marco says, my 6-month-old daughter was loving your singing. Happy New Year, Mark. Good luck for Sunday, mate. Thanks for all the content, says Tibble. I'll be live with you tomorrow morning at 10. I won't be live with you at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. If you're expecting a live show... tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. It's New Year's Eve. I'll be wasted. Might do a live Insta. No, I won't. I'm not getting cancelled. Blow the whistle, ref. Another game without scoring. And that's the final whistle. Amorim shakes the hands of Eddie Howe. He's only got 2. And he only shook 1. I never normally do this. Just before we end, I just want to look at the stats. Can I look at the stats? Yeah, Garnacho did nothing when he came on. Cameras are on him for some reason. A lot of cameras on Garnacho. I don't really know why. 10 shots to 12, 1 on target to 4, 2 corners to 3, 53% possession. Look, we were better, but Newcastle won the game in the first 20 minutes. I think Newcastle probably did what some teams do. You get 2-0 up and you don't do anything stupid. And maybe they had gears to go up as well. So, well done to Newcastle. I predicted they'd win 2-0. They did win 2-0. I don't like predicting against my own team, but... I think it was inevitable, and Amorim in. Obviously, Rashford didn't get used, did he? I'm just keeping an eye on the screen there. But look, there's a lot of money on that pitch. There's a lot of talent on that pitch. And that's been the problem for 10 years. They are inconsistent and they do not deliver what we pay for them. I'll tell you all about this in the match reaction. Adrian says, awful, horrible crap. I expect it to get worse before it gets better. Thank you very much. Right, I'll see you on the match reaction in a minute. Do your player ratings, links in the description here and on that video as well. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Absolute legends tonight, by the way. Thanks everyone who got involved. We'll get through this together. There'll be a lot of people screaming and shouting because they know it gets clicks and views. I'm not screaming and shouting. We will get through this together as a community. We will come out the other side. We will win the Europa League. We will get better. Don't listen to these morons who scream and shout because they're doing it for views. They haven't got a fucking clue what's going to happen at this football club. We will bounce back. We will definitely bounce back and we will do it together. I'll see you on the match reaction. Can I have another bottle? I want to marry you.